Do we have a, yes, sir.
Remember to take roll call votes.
Right. Do we have a motion for approval of the official agenda?
So moved.
Gentleman from 3, do you want to leave the matter on engineering on the agenda, or do you want to exclude that from the agenda?
Let's table that. I move we table it.
And that's part of your motion? Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Clerk, all votes tonight will be by roll call since we have Alderman 2 joining us by telephone. We're ready for the roll call, clerk.
Alderman Nguyen.
Unclear. Hello?
Yes, Alderwoman Nguyen?
Yes, okay.
There's a motion on,
During this call, Elizabeth, can you repeat that information again, please?
there's a motion on the floor to approve the official agenda with the understanding that the matter under Roman numeral 11E1 under engineering, that matter will be tabled until the next meeting of the mayor board being on December 2, 2014. So all the other matters will remain on the agenda as is.
Okay, thank you.
So we're ready to vote.
Yay?
Alderman Little.
Yay.
Alderman Walker.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
The motion passes unanimously as amended. Thank you. We are now down to the approval of the Board of Alderman minutes of October 21, 2014. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Alderman Little and second by Alderman Walker to approve the October 21, 2014 minutes of the Marion Board of Aldermen. The clerk, we're ready for the roll call.
Alderman Nguyen.
Yay?
Alderman Little.
Yay.
Alderman Walker.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
The motion passes unanimously. We're now down to announcement and comments. We're down to mayor comments. I'd like to recognize a couple of department heads who would like to make some comments very briefly. Mr. Sanders would like to speak about recognition for the city, and then Ms. Gandy would like to speak about the storm cleanup recovery. So, Mr. Sanders, you're to be recognized first very briefly. Come on down to the front. Thank you.
I am pleased to report to the Board of Alderpersons in the city of Starkville that the Mill at MSU project was recently awarded the best project of 2014 by the Mississippi chapter of the American Planning Association. This is a very prestigious award in that it was awarded based on the Mill at MSU being ranked top in innovation, planning principles, holistic approach, transferability, quality, and implementation of an overall plan. So we were able to show this off in front of fellow Mississippi municipalities and also municipalities from Alabama at the joint conference last week.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. Thank you. Ms. Gandy.
Good evening, Vice Mayor, Board.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to make a brief announcement, a reminder concerning the storm debris. The 40-day waiver that the board approved, starting October 13th, will end November the 22nd of 2014. That is this Saturday. So this Saturday, it will be the last day for storm-related debris to be taken into the landfill at no charge to the residents. The landfill will be open Saturday from 8 to 12 noon. So after Saturday, then the ordinance will be back in effect. This is the ordinance that the board set aside, allowing debris to be taken without charges and to allow the departments to pick up that debris that was outside of the ordinance. So Saturday will end that waiver, and we will be back on schedule with our regular rubbish collection as well as our regular charges for debris.
Thank you, Ms. Gandy.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any comments by any member of the board? Lady from 2, we'll start with you. Do you have any comments, Alderwoman Nguyen?
No, I do not at this time. Thank you for asking that.
Okay. Do any other members have any comments? We're now down to citizen comments. Is there any citizen who'd like to speak up to 3 minutes? Yes, sir, come on down.
Good evening, Jerome Nettles. In full disclosure, I'm a citizen of Lee County, but a native of Starkville, Mississippi. I'm employed at ERA Town and Campus Realty, and come before the board tonight to express some disdain and embarrassment in not notifying your downtown merchants of the street closure, the future street closure between Washington Street and the Methodist Church, much more so than a couple of days. Apparently the street is being closed from December the 2nd until January the 19th. To a business, this is more than a minor inconvenience. This is a detrimental lick to not have any vehicular traffic nor access to and fro. Furthermore, once the street reopens January the 19th, my particular business will not be granted any more than potentially, possibly, a path in, but not guaranteeing necessarily getting out. That will last all the way until May of 2015. Again, it's 6 business days out before the commencement of this potential street closing. And we've yet to inform our neighbors, who I spoke with today, that had no clue the road was being closed. No clue. So they have 0 time, 6 business days counting the holiday, to inform their customers of potential backups, how they can get to their business. I don't know that signage has been proposed on what businesses will be affected, or directing foot traffic or anything else on how to get there. But this is much more than a minor inconvenience to a business. Temporary is 2 or 3 days or a week or something like that. I understand. Progress happens and we deal with that. A month, 6 weeks, 6 months in my case is long term and is potentially detrimental to the success of my business. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Good evening to the Vice Mayor. My name is Alvin Thomas, Ward 7. One item I just wait on it to the next meeting, public comment. We have experienced a sportsplex in Amelon Apartments. The lighting at night is dark, and the ladies are very afraid that they don't want one to run out in the street. You cannot hardly see after 5 o'clock at Sportsplex, the Amelon Apartments, and People Street. All right, the lighting is very dark, and they're afraid to be in those sections of town after 5 o'clock because of people doing different stuff, and we are in the time of year where people do whatever. We have some vandalism on People Street. We have sign torn down, and we just like to hopefully try to eliminate that. And my mother always told me, carry a good reputation, and it will go further than you ever will go. And that is for the young men. Women are not to be beaten on; they're to be loved, and that's just to the young men.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Yes, sir, Alderman Vaughn.
Jim up there. So, what your business is? What street your business on?
Well, Meigs or West Main, we're located directly across from the new municipal complex.
Mr. Kim, can I ask you a question? Have a notice been out that this street will be closed?
I'm not aware of that.
I'd like to comment.
Yeah, Alderman, we've not brought that street closure to you for approval yet, and we're actually meeting with the contractor tomorrow on the specifics of what they're requesting. But also one thing, what is proposed on the block between Washington and the new building is proposed. There is a short-term closure there that they're requesting, so that they'll be doing work on the actual street. And it's in building the turnaround there for the terminus at Main Street. We're at the point in the construction schedule where they say that is warranted. So there is a temporary closure requested there. For worker safety there, what we're working through is a worker safety closure of MEGs. We have been adamant that access to the ERA Town and Campus Realty, basically to that business, must be preserved. We'll meet with them tomorrow to see what their final request is, and then we'll route that through channels to you all. But nothing has been approved as yet.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
When will they be notified? Once
Ma'am.
they get approved?
Sir, so the notification procedure will proceed when we go through the normal notice procedure that we would for a closure of this nature. But as soon as possible, when we know exactly when we've agreed on exactly what the contractor is asking for.
But meantime, everybody just gonna run and find out the street closed.
Well,
Run to the street and discover that it's closed.
Yes, sir, we haven't notified anyone yet because we don't know if the street closure will be approved. And so we don't have any, there's nothing to notice yet. That's the reason that no notice has been given.
May I
Thank you,
please
Mr. Adams.
encourage the board not to approve that road closure?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
May I make one final comment?
She had some time left. Very briefly, come on, very briefly. Yes, sir.
I was notified by the construction foreman last week that this closure is going to happen. I encourage each of you to realize that a construction foreman is there to oversee construction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Doing good.
Calvin Dayline, I'm a resident of Starkville, a disabled veteran. I had a whole trailer stolen from Sportsplex April the 18th, 2014. I'm a mobile sound guy. I've set up a Starkville Day, different things of that nature, and I had my whole trailer was stolen from the Sportsplex. But when I left it there, I checked it 3 days in a row, it was locked. And the city employee cut the lock off of the trailer and moved it. After he moved it, it was stolen. I've already been to the Sportsplex board, and they told me I can do whatever I want to do. They're not going to do anything. So I got up with a lawyer, and he informed me to go through the proper channels first. So I went to the board there. Now I'm at the board here.
Mr. Walker.
I read your letter, and it was my understanding from reading that you went back to pick up your trailer. It had been raining before that.
Yes, sir.
Where the trailer was parked was inaccessible because of the
Yes, sir.
rainy weather.
Yes, sir.
And it was a park employee that cut the trailer,
Yes, sir.
the hitch off, and then moved it to the street. And
Yes, sir.
where it was, when you came back and found it, it was
gone.
It was gone.
Didn't put another lock on there. If you had to put another lock on there and somebody took it, I understand that. But it was secure. He made it unsecure by cutting the lock, moving it, and then put another lock on there.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any other citizen comments? There is no public appearance scheduled tonight. We will now have our first public hearing on potential changes to the animal control ordinance. I will start initially to see if there are any comments by any member of the board on the proposed changes to this ordinance. Is there any member from the public who would like to speak on the proposed change to this ordinance? Come forward, please, and give us your name, please. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leslie Moma. I'm a resident here in Starkville. I live close to the hospital. And my husband and I walk a lot, and we see people walking their dogs. And so we're out on the street often. When I read of the potential of the new ordinance in the paper today, it gave me some concern, because I see that the people that are walking, they have very little option when it comes to their pets. And so when they go into the cemeteries, that's a potential option for green space for them. I also understand that it's very disrespectful whenever they do not clean up after their dogs, but should be an opportunity for them to do that. So I understand that one of the council members provided the bags for the dog walkers to clean up after the dogs. But I see that that's probably not enough, that there needs to be an educational component, And then we also need to provide additional facilities. So when we're on the street walking, as my husband and I are just picking up regular trash, we notice that there are no receptacles in order to place that trash. And that's probably the case for dog walkers as well. So I think that we have an opportunity to educate the public about what is proper procedure, what is the best way to handle this type of situation. And I think as a city member, as the city council, that we as city council, that there's this opportunity to provide additional facilities for the residents. And that would be additional receptacles to take care of dog waste, but then also to take care of the additional waste that we just kind of let fly out of our cars, drop when we're walking, things of that nature. So I see it as an educational opportunity. I don't think we should actually ban people from walking their dogs in the cemeteries. I think we should do some outreach and engage the public. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Turner?
Good evening to the board. My name is Alvin. The cemetery is the final resting place for our loved one. And for it to be disturbed on any turn, it's wrong. If I was in the cemetery, I'd go to jail because the cemetery is not a place for that. So I feel like that. If I have restrictions not to be, we shouldn't have one agenda for one, another agenda for another. If we want to respect the deceased, let us do it right.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Are there any other public comments as regard to this hearing on this proposed change to the animal ordinance? Are there any comments by the members of the board? Gentlemen.
Just briefly, I would like to comment briefly and say that in regard to the receptacles, that is absolutely a critical component and agree. And we are, Mr. Sanders, we have recently purchased, or in the process of acquiring receptacles to be placed in strategic locations.
We have purchased, they're in the process of being manufactured, and we're waiting for a delivery date.
So this is going to be a start on that to help with the general waste and litter problem that we have along 182 and University Drive, Main Street.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Are there any other comments by any other member of the board? If not, that closes this public hearing. And Mr. Adams, I would take that we'll have a second public hearing for this on December 2nd, 2014.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
Yes, sir, thank you. That takes us down to department business, Roman numeral I-11, 2A, request approval of a special events permit with an in-kind services for the Starkville Christmas Parade and tree lighting ceremony to be held at 6 p.m. on December 1, 2014. Any motion or any discussion on this?
Move approval.
Been motion by Alderman Vaughn to move approval of this particular item. Any second?
Second.
It's been second. Alderwoman Nguyen, are you there?
Yes.
Did you have any comment or question on this?
No, I don't.
Okay, it's been motioned by Alderman Vaughn, second by Alderman Little to move approval of this particular item. Any discussion? If none, we're ready for roll call vote.
Alderman Nguyen.
Yay.
Alderman Little.
Yay.
Alderman Walker.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
The motion passes unanimously. Thank you. The next item is elected department request approval to advertise the source of supply specification for Starkville Electric Department.
Approval.
It's been moved by Alderman Vaughn for approval of this matter.
Second.
Second by Alderman Little. Any discussion? Clerk, we're ready for the roll call.
Alderwoman Nguyen.
Yay.
Alderman Little.
Yay.
Alderman Walker.
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay.
This motion passes unanimously and it's adopted. The next matter has been tabled until December 2nd, 2014 on the engineering, the only matter on engineering. This takes us to Finance Administration. Request approval of the City of Starkville claims docket for all.
Move approval.
Been moved approved by the gentleman from 3, Alderman Little.
Second.
Second by Alderman Walker. Any discussion? No discussion. Clerk, roll call.
Alderwoman Nguyen.
Yay.
Alderman Little.
Yay.
Alderman Walker,
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
Yay. Okay, the motion passes unanimously and is adopted. The next matter on the agenda is request approval of October 31, 2014 financial statements of the city of Starkville, Mississippi.
Move approval.
It's been moved approval by Alderman Little. Alderman Vaughn, you second it? Any discussion? If no discussion, clerk, ready for roll call.
Alderwoman Wynn,
Yay.
Alderman Little,
Yay.
Alderman Walker,
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
The motion passes unanimously and is adopted. This takes us down to the agenda under personnel. Request approval to advertise for certified police officer. Do we have a motion? Been motioned by Alderman Vaughn to approve, to advertise for certified police officers. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Little. Is there any discussion? No discussion. Clerk, ready for the roll call.
Alderwoman Wynn,
Yay.
Alderman Little,
Yay.
Alderman Walker,
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
The motion passes unanimously and is adopted. This takes us to request approval to advertise for a maintenance worker in the street department. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Move approval by Alderman Little. You give a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Walker. Any discussion? No discussion. Ready for the roll call, clerk.
Alderman Wynn,
Yay.
Alderman Little,
Yay.
Alderman Walker,
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
The motion passes unanimously and is adopted. This takes us down to public services. Request approval of an agreement with Innovative Water Supplies reviewed by the city attorney. Mr. Attorney, you have reviewed this, correct?
It's been fully negotiated, yes.
And meets all the legal requirements?
It does.
Do we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Move approval by the gentleman from 3, Mr. Little, and a second by Alderman Vaughn. Any discussion on this motion? No discussion. Ready for roll call, clerk.
Alderman Wynn,
Yay.
Alderman Little,
Yay.
Alderman Walker,
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
The motion passes unanimously and is adopted. Mr. Evans, did I miss anything on this agenda? You tracked me well. I'm ready for a motion to adjourn.
Vice Mayor,
Yes, sir.
the one that we tabled, public one that we tabled.
Yes, sir, gentleman from 7. The motion that was tabled until the next meeting, December 2nd, 2014 at 5:30 is request approval of the low quote from JCV Construction, Inc. in the amount of $15,900 for the Lafayette Street sidewalk and alley improvements, and authorization for the mayor to proceed with executing a construction contract in amount not to exceed $10,000. That matter was tabled at the beginning of the meeting, and it will be brought up for consideration by the mayor and the entire board at our next meeting, which will be Tuesday, December 2nd, 2014, in this room at 5:30. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Been motioned by the gentleman from 3, Mr. Lill, to adjourn this meeting until Tuesday, December 2nd, 2014, at 5:30 in this boardroom. Do you have a second? Been second by the gentleman from 7, Mr. Vaughn. Any discussion on the motion to adjourn? No discussion. Let's have a roll call vote, please.
Alderlady Wynn,
Yay.
Alderman Little,
Yay.
Alderman Walker,
Yay.
Alderman Vaughn.
The motion passes unanimously. This meeting is adjourned until Tuesday, December 2nd, 2014, at 5:30. Thank you.
Well done.